Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today. I am driving home on my way from work, and today's going to be a fun day. Today is our first day of All-Star softball practice, and I'm really looking forward to having a hell of a season, even if it only is going to be basically a month long before we take a break before winter ball. We got a lot of stuff that's going to be going down in between those times. Just as a reminder, June 1st is going to be the first ever, maybe the last ever, YWC Day that is being hosted by Jimny 888, formerly Jimny 686. He wants to see everybody make a return to the YWC that day, even if it only is for one day, to give the wrestling YouTube a kick in the pants. I think it's going to be a fun thing to do. I've been talking to a lot of my friends, talking about the future Wrestlemania trip. Besides for booking our room, we really don't have anything else going on. I think plans will start getting kicked into place once, WrestleCon starts announcing guests. Once they announce when the Wrestlemania tickets will be going on sale, and trying to figure out, when this, that, and the other, that it's going to be like completing the trip, whether if it's an indie show, AEW, TNA, whoever pops up having a show, and definitely I'll be filling you guys in along the way. I've seen some names pop up for future WrestleManias that are going to be in the future. I know that I'm sort of, looking at, the WrestleMania 41 trip to Las Vegas as, like, the last time that me and my friends all, really get together. It's the last time that we go out and we hit the town one more last time before we all head off. We'll still be friends, but planning a WrestleMania trip where we're really trying to get a group of, like, 20 dudes all together in the same place to, relive the memories that we had, 10 years ago. It gets a little bit harder and harder each and every year. For me, it was, money, spending a little bit more time with my friends, or I apologize, spending a little bit more time with my kids, and that's sort of why I got out of the scene. And it sucks, to be seeing different people at different places in their lives. My kids are older now, to the point where I can leave them at home. They're not really like the little kids that I was putting on YouTube years and years ago. And if something comes up, I can do it. I can't go on one of these wrestling trips once a month, but definitely, finding a way to get, one more trip here, one more trip there. There's definitely things that are on my list, but as trying to plan a big group outing, this is probably going to be one of the last ones. But knowing WrestleMania is going to be each and every year is always going to be an itch of, like, would you want to? I'm going to try and cross off as many things on my list. I know there's wrestlers at WrestleCon that I'm going to look at this as, like, this is the last chance that I'm probably ever going to be able to meet a lot of these guys that are on my list that I want to get a picture with. I want to say what's up to. I want to thank them for all the memories in the past. But it's always going to be out there. As guys that are in WWE now get older, they get released, and they're going to be out there. To me, like, more than... I always say that Kevin Nash is like my number one. The Good Brothers are honestly like my number two. But I think us posting up at the World to meet guys on the Access list, I will always call it Access. I don't really see that high on our list of going there. I've said that I thought it was a cool thing that maybe we went there just to see some of the sets they put up for you to get a good picture. But you're camping out to be the first ones in lines for this, that, or the other. I think that really died like WrestleMania 32. I was kind of the only one who wanted to go. I think Ravi had a ticket, went to Access, met his VIP, and bounced. That was kind of all he did there. So WrestleCon's a little bit easier. Sometimes the lines get a little bit longer, but some guys you pretty much just walk right up to, and they're just waiting for you there. But to get down to the nuts and bolts of it, I've seen a few names thrown out there. Of course, Minneapolis, Minnesota, number one on the list. I really feel bad, for that list. It's been a name that's been floated out there for years, since they built their new stadium. They hosted a Super Bowl, which seems like a decade ago. It really didn't go over, honestly, that well. Super Bowl is always held in February, and it's flipping cold. And I think all of the results came back, just everybody basically saying that everything was either held at the Mall of America or it was held at the actual Viking Stadium. I can't remember what the name of that place is. It's a beautiful place to see football. I've seen pictures from the stands. I've seen videos. I've watched games there. It's a really, really nice place. But just, they are pushing Wrestlemania back a little bit in the year. That way it's not going up against March Madness. And they probably can get more buzz going there, as well as they can probably get more media there. But Minneapolis, Minnesota, I think it's going to take kind of a miracle. It's always going to be that one that wants to have there. I feel bad. They actually had like a town hall city meeting where they basically rolled out that they were going to be announcing WrestleMania sooner than later. They had planned on announcing it at that meeting. Something happened. They said they had to wait. I thought that maybe they were waiting for WWE to announce it first. And it ends up, it got scooped. And it went to Las Vegas. So as of right now, Minneapolis, I think, is on the outside. London, they hosted Money in the Bank last year. They hosted AEW's big pay-per-view of the year. All in. I think London's on the page to really get a WrestleMania event. I think that they can even create a PPV, or a PPV that is pay-per-view. What do they call them now? Premium televised event, PT? Is that, or am I making things up? I think they could even, just treat any. They could have SummerSlam London, and they could roll out the things like the World. I think that if the indie community wanted to get behind it, I could see them hosting an event like WrestleCon. It doesn't have to be WrestleMania. The only thing I think that would be working against London would be the time difference, which is something that we've talked about, honestly, for a long time. When they held SummerSlam there years before, they taped it. And they actually showed it on pay-per-view taped a day later. And at that time, 1992, people didn't have the hookups with Dave Meltzer where he was on the internet. There wasn't a million podcasts, live from London telling you the results of the show. And everybody was surprised. I think most people, I didn't see that show for a long, long time. That was even a hard tape to get in Blockbuster for some reason. So I think I got my results from like Superstars, like the next weekend or something like that, as Mean Gene rolled them out for us. But I think that we've seen PPVs. We're going to have one this weekend with the King and Queen of the Ring from Saudi Arabia. It's going to be on in the morning. I think it's kind of cool. You turn wrestling on as you're rolling out of the rack here in the West Coast, and it's already going. It's already fired up for us. You don't have to really do anything. It sucks if you've got a normal weekend day job and you're at home. But in this world, if you could stay away from your phone, you watch that sucker the second you get home, and it's almost instantaneous what time it comes on. The hard part would be staying away from your phone. I think that's the one reason why I think that WWE wouldn't give their marquee WrestleMania event to London. I'm rooting for it. You're rooting for it. I think that it is honestly something that it could be done. I think it'll be on the waiting list. The next one, they're going to be hosting the event this weekend. Saudi Arabia. In this world, as of right now, with the oil money that Saudi Arabia has, those guys can literally buy anything they wanted to. I mean, those guys have money that we don't even know how much money they really have. But for all of the bad publicity that always gets put out every time WWE always goes there, whether if it's from the other company, whether if it's from the news companies that are trying to cover the event, they have politics that we don't have, and it doesn't really mix. Sometimes WWE looks the other way because the money that is being brought in by this country kind of fixes all of the books for WWE. They overpay way too much to be able to say that they host this one show a year, and how much they would have to pay in order to bring in another show. One reason, I think that they have enough people there. Maybe they don't care. I don't really know if like the UK crowd would travel to Saudi Arabia to go to WrestleMania. So maybe it would have to be kind of like a smaller like event, much like WrestleMania 9 was, where they held it in a parking lot in Las Vegas. They overcharged for the tickets because people would honestly pay almost anything it costs to go to WrestleMania, and there was less to go around. That they could cover up the fact that people aren't traveling in for the show to go to the world, and do all the WrestleMania like events to be there. They already have one event with the King and Queen of the Ring, or the world's greatest Royal Rumble, or whatever it is that they want to name the show to go there. So for them to overpay to get actual WrestleMania. Didn't they get like WrestleMania Revenge a few years ago, and that's where they did Roman versus Brock in the steel cage? But I think it would have to be a lot, and I think they have it. If they want to buy it, I think they could have it for a year, and it'd just be kind of weird for us that we didn't get WrestleMania. But it is what it is. High on my list that I saw that I liked would be honestly WrestleMania Nashville. Nashville is a town that is booming. I honestly can remember going on a vacation there, a family vacation, in the 90s during high school. I don't think that's when we went to Dollywood. I don't think Dollywood's actually in Nashville. But I can remember walking the streets with the country music bars and things like that, going into like places that had historical, like Hank Williams stuff. We went to the Grand Ole Opry and stuff like that, and I thought the town was huge. But it's really, I think, almost been what Atlanta was in the 90s, and it just keeps gaining strength almost since they ever got the Tennessee Titans, whenever they actually moved there, and TNA set up operations there. But it seems like each and every year a new country music star is opening up a new restaurant / bar that just blows the top of everything. They got hotels, they got the nightlife. We saw 2019 the NFL draft brought like 100,000 people there just to watch the draft, not even a game. So I definitely think that Nashville has it. They hosted SummerSlam just a few years ago. They knocked it out of the park. And I think, honestly, when it comes down to it, if I was to look at anything, Nashville would be one of my top sites for WrestleMania in the foreseeable future. If I was to bet money on where WrestleMania 42 is going to be, I would say Nashville right now. That is my pick, and I think it would definitely put a star on my board of, hey, I said that was the last one for 41, but hey, it's Nashville. We got to get out there. Peace out, everybody.